عبرت.
Good afternoon. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the session.
بين صورتي ولكل مجانب بين صورتي.
Okay.
Hello,
everyone. Welcome. I've just popped you onto mute just so. There we go. Okay. So welcome to the session. We're here to talk about the MA in TESOL. My name's David. I'm from the Lowy International School. I'm going to begin the session just by giving you an overview of Tel Aviv University and the Lowy International School, and a bit about student life as well. Before we introduce everyone, I just want to say a couple of housekeeping items. One is we are recording this session just because we had quite a lot of people signed up to join. So we like to send out the recording to them afterwards. What we normally do, though, is we just record our sessions, about the program team, plus also a current student who's here as well. Once we finish that, we then tend to switch off the Q&A, so it allows more of an open Q&A. While we're going to introduce everyone else who's presenting with us, do pop into the chat where you're coming in from. I always like to know where people are coming in from. I know there's quite a lot of you from Israel, but it's also good to know what other countries you're from. So do pop that into the chat. In the meantime, let's introduce everyone else here. So like I said, I'm David from the Lowy International School here at Tel Aviv University. We're the hub for all of the international English talk programs here on campus. And let's start with the rest of the team. Do you want to introduce yourselves? Ilana, do you want to go first?
Well, there's two Ilanas, but I'll turn the floor to Professor Ilana Shohami. Go ahead.
Okay, hi everybody, nice to see you all, really exciting. And I'm Ilana Shohami, and I'm one of the three heads of this program. You'll meet the two in a minute, or at least one. So I'm in charge of issues of the academic program, really academic dimensions of the program, mostly the type of courses, how you're all doing, what is required and everything else. And I'm an expert in issues of language policy, linguistic landscape, which is languages and public spaces, and language testing. And I'm very happy to be here and hope to hear from you soon.
Okay, since I'm the other Ilana, I will go. So my name is Ilana Spector-Cohen. I used to be the director of the program. Now Kate will introduce herself in a minute. And today I am still a lecturer in the program. So I am in charge of the research forum for TESOL course. And also I teach a course in curriculum design and materials development. Kate?
Hello, everyone. First of all, it's great to see we are so many here, and I'm really excited to say I'm an MA TESOL program coordinator. This is the first year I'm with TAU, and I'm really thrilled to help you on your journey through MA TESOL program. So you will see me from the very beginning of your journey. So I'll offer my help with the submission of your required documents, with getting here, and just offering advice whenever you have any challenges with the program. So you are welcome to ask me any questions during the session, before you arrive, during your stay here, and even after graduation. So I'm a long-term person to be around.
Okay.
Thank you, Kate. And we also have a current student, Blake. Are you here, Blake?
Yeah. So hi, so my name is Blake Steinecker. It's nice to meet you. I'm a current student at TESOL, of the MA TESOL program. Currently finishing up my thesis. I have a lot more to say, but I'll wait for a bit later as I sort of go through my journey.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Blake. Okay, so let's begin. So like I said, I'll give you a quick 5-10 minute overview about the university, about the Lowy International School. So I'm going to begin by playing a very short video. It's just under 2 minutes that I think sums up and encapsulates the learning experience here that we call Taoism. Let me just play. Oops.
International. Tel Aviv University International, the only place in the world where you can study Taoism. What is Taoism? Well, it's a local philosophy that says the best way to study is through experience. Understand with your head, learn with your feet. The best way to study a multicultural society is to live in one. Be ready with your elevator pitch. You never know who you'll meet on campus. If you want to learn the best marketing strategies, just go to the local market. Reading about the Startup Nation? Write your own chapter. Study literature in the place that inspired the bestseller of all time. You can't resolve a conflict until you witness one. רוצים שינוי! רוצים שינוי! At TAU, there is always room for more questions and 400 labs to find the answers. Come experience the wisdom of Taoism at Tel Aviv University International, where first-class education meets a second-to-none lifestyle.
Okay. So welcome to the session. I think a couple of people just joined late. We're just going to give you a quick overview of Tel Aviv University and the Lowy International School. I do ask for you to all just pop yourself onto mute just to avoid any feedback. We will switch that off once we get to the Q&A session. So we introduced ourselves to you. My name's David. I'm from the Lowy International School here on campus. I'll give you a quick overview of Tel Aviv University. So the video you just watched is called Taoism, and I think that sums up our local philosophy here, which is simply that you study best through experience. So you learn with your head, you understand with your feet, and learning happens everywhere and sometimes when you least expect it. So when you come to our university, you don't just learn in a classroom, you learn in a campus, in a city, in a country. All of these things will transform you, especially in your program where you actually have real actual classroom experience teaching English. So this gives a good snapshot of Tel Aviv University. I know quite a few of you are from Israel, but there's quite a few people here from overseas as well. But Tel Aviv University is Israel's largest, its most comprehensive institution of higher education. We have 9 faculties, 125 schools and departments, and 400 labs. So we truly are a multidisciplinary institution of academic excellence. 30,000 total students, and of that 30,000, 2,000 plus, just over 2,000 are international students. And they come from 100 countries from all over the world, from North America, from Latin America, Europe, Asia, Australia, as well as the international community here in Tel Aviv. So I'm not going to get into all of them, but obviously we're very proud of our ranking. We're Israel's largest and most comprehensive institution. We're the #1 choice among Israeli students. We're one of the top 100 innovation universities in the world. We're ranked, in the top 10 of many, many different rankings. And a lot of these rankings, the entrepreneurship, VC-backed founders, graduates, established unicorn companies, and a lot of these were the only non-US institution to make these top 10 lists. So we're very, very proud of that. And also 55% of the population on campus are women. Just I think 2 years ago in May 2021, the university set up its very first Equality and Diversity Commission, and that's headed up by Professor Aviv, and their remit is clear. It's to enhance equality and diversity among everyone on campus. As I mentioned, you know, we're a multidisciplinary institution of academic excellence, and our impact is felt large and wide. We have 9 faculties, 125 schools and departments, you know, so that's a vast range of research and teaching fields that create, you know, unique and fascinating connections between disciplines that are not traditionally connected to each other. World-class faculty, renowned professors, global university with students from 100+ countries. Every year, our students perform over 300,000 hours of community service. And we're also based in this wonderful Mediterranean city of Tel Aviv that we call home. You know, Tel Aviv is Israel's cultural and commercial capital. It's been called the Mediterranean capital of cool by the New York Times. It's a non-stop city with amazing nightlife, cuisine, cultures. It's very much a city you can never stop exploring. There's 16 or 17 kilometers of beaches. It's a wonderful, wonderful city. And the tagline of the Tel Aviv is non-stop, and our tagline here at the International School is non-stop discovery. Just a snapshot here of some key alumni, some people that are changing the world in different fields. Lots of people, a couple of people here from the world of business and entrepreneurship. In addition to that, you also have people like Yotam Ottolenghi, who's a very famous Israeli chef and author with a couple of restaurants and TV shows and cookbooks. You also have Professor Anit Sachi, who developed a new way to treat and prevent melanoma through a nano vaccine. So we hope that if you come to Tel Aviv University, you'll be successful and make an impact in your region and area of expertise and help fly the flag for Tel Aviv University. Okay, if there's one thing I want you to take away from the session is, in addition to the wonderful program that you'll hear more about very, very soon, it's the student life team. We call them madrachim, which is a Hebrew word for guide or counselor, madrichim. And they're there very much to, you know, give you a nice soft landing. So they're there on arrival day, on orientation day. They're all Israeli students that all study their first or second degree at Tel Aviv University, and they work with us as student counselors. So they live in the dorms with students as well. They're available 24/7 for any issues of support that you need. They also organize amazing events on campus like yoga night, movie night, pizza night. Also, they'll take you off on day trips in Tel Aviv, in Jerusalem, and overnight trips in the north and in the south, with all of the other international students as well. So you'll get to experience Israel and get to travel around Israel, but also get to meet students from all over the world as well. And I think that sense of community extends through as well. So if you're looking for dorms, yes, we have accommodation on campus. There's 24-hour security. There's a health insurance there. They're very, very just literally adjacent to campus. Lots of amenities close by, shopping centers, shops, restaurants, supermarkets, everything that you need. Just some pictures here as well. It's always nice. People always ask to see inside the dorms. They're very nice. They can either be studio style. Sorry, there's been an alarm going off here. 1 second. Let me just switch that alarm off. Sorry, there's an alarm going off in our building. So what if I just, if I cut to you, Blake, if you want to say a few things about the program while I just troubleshoot that
Sure.
noise, I'm so sorry.
Sure, I can take over. So again, my name is Blake. It's really nice to meet you. I'm currently a thesis student in the MA TESOL program. A bit of background about myself, sort of going back to the beginning. For me, one of the main reasons for applying to this program was to sort of bridge this idea between theory and practice. And at that point, for me, teaching EFL in Korea and Japan was the limit to my practice. So I was really wanted to blend my understanding of the underlying principles related to language teaching and actual language teaching itself. So that was my sort of goal going into it. The point being, though, that the program absolutely helped me achieve these goals through the coursework and through the practicum component that was mentioned earlier, where you can actually teach in Israeli schools, which was an incredible opportunity for me. But looking back, I would say that the most meaningful takeaway for me were the teachers of the courses, which 2 of them are here now. They're well-established professionals in the field who more often than not have been published in the field, which is not always evident given that they're incredibly humble and also uncommonly kind. So it's quite a surprise going into the program to realize how well-established the teaching staff is. Also, in regards to teaching the teachers, the network that I created from the program based on the teachers has allowed me to actually teach at a college here in Israel and also a university. So it's really been quite the sort of catalyst for me in my career. And then as well as on top of that, I've been working on completing my thesis and hopefully going into a PhD as well. So that's been also an incredible opportunity. Let's see, more than that, I would say that studying languages in Israel is unique in and of itself, right? I mean, given the linguistic diversity here. So we went on trips and addressed issues such as language rights and policy and how language sort of landscapes impact language use and testing and CEFR, which you don't know what that means now, I'm assuming, but by the end of the program, you'd be very familiar with what each of those letters of the acronym means. And then not even to mention the friends I made along the way, the international friends from China and Israel and Canada and the US and more. So yeah, it's been an incredible opportunity. I'm happy to keep going in details, but I don't want to talk too much. Hopefully the alarm is sorted out by now. But if you have questions now or at the end, I'd be more than happy to sort of tackle those and answer anything you have. Yeah.
So does anyone have any questions for Blake while you have his attention? Just to sort of explain, the TESOL program has 2 possibilities. One is it's a 1-year program, and it's with a non-thesis track. In other words, you don't have to write a thesis. You get an MA in TESOL. For those who excel and want to, you can do at least an additional year, depending on how long the thesis takes, in the thesis track, and that means that you would graduate with an MA with a thesis. Now, in some contexts, that's not, necessarily necessary. I can give you one example. In Israel, for example, if you would like to go on for a PhD, it's quite important that you do have a thesis to be accepted, or that you'd have to complete a thesis before you can be accepted. Also, people who are interested, for example, in going into research, the thesis is an amazing opportunity to actually experience that. So Blake is in his 2nd year. He's already completed the course requirements and now is doing his thesis. So are there any questions for Blake? Anything you'd like to know? Okay. Oh, I see that.
I have a question.
Okay, yeah.
Was it a fire alarm? Is that the problem? Okay, go ahead. And any questions, and you can take over as well from this.
Cincinnati, Ohio, to answer that question. Yeah.
Yes, Nina's writing in the chat. If you can see that, Blake.
Oh, yeah, okay, in the chat. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's read it. So I'm from Cincinnati, Ohio, USA. The question is, can I do a thesis year not right after the studies, but later? That's a question for the teachers, but I would imagine it should be a continuation of your process as you're in the MA TESOL, but please correct me if I'm wrong there.
Ilana, would you like to comment on that?
Yeah. Usually it's like we try to work, if those who decide to do a thesis, they make a decision towards the end of the year because it's a 3-semester course. And by then we start already working on ideas for the thesis. So you start it really at the end, let's say in the 2nd or 3rd semester, and then it's a natural kind of continuation to the next thing. As with Blake, he had one idea at one point, and we went very
It
deep
changed a bit,
into it,
yeah.
in fact.
Mm.
But upon all kind of circumstances, they decided to do something which meant more for him in terms of where he lives. He lives in a kibbutz, and he wanted to know about the background of the people in the kibbutz in terms of how they learned Hebrew and how they maintained their home languages over time. So he got more connected to that topic, and he switched at one point. Of course, it delayed him a little bit, but basically it's really a fantastic study. And I think so this happens sometimes. You start one topic and then you go into another topic for your thesis. So you can go on till the following year and work on your thesis. So in other words, we're talking about 3 semesters. You start in the summer, then fall, then spring, and then the program is over if you do a regular MA. If you do an MA with thesis like Blake is doing, then you continue it more or less the following few months.
If I can just add, I mean,
Sure.
theoretically, it isn't impossible to do a thesis after completing the program in the non-thesis track. However, there would be no guarantee that we would have a place in the program, a supervisor to do it. It's sort of, again, those people who are already in the program and who are doing it,
True.
you know, it's usually easier than to, as Ilana said, to just like keep that flow immediately into the thesis track. But, you know, it might be more of a struggle to find a supervisor, but you can always try to come back and do a thesis.
Hi, everyone. I'm back online. I'm so sorry about that. My sincere apologies.
Okay.
There was a fire alarm in our building, which is still going on. So I've had to come outside and connect in with my phone, but it gives you the chance to see our beautiful campus.
You're right. You see the campus.
Our wonderful campus. So thank you all for bearing with me. And I'm so sorry about that. I was almost at the end of my slide deck. I basically had 2 more slides to talk through, but I will send them out to everyone afterwards. It was basically covering all the different types of funding opportunities here. We have lots of scholarships here that we give. There's also other organizations that can assist you as well. So I will send it out by email to everyone afterwards also. So again, my apologies. It's something that happened that I had no control over. My sincere apologies. So thank you everyone for sticking with it and for carrying the reins. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay.
So where were we?
Blake had just spoken.
Okay, great. Thank you, Blake.
Sure.
Questions. I see another. Does it involve an extra cost to do the thesis? From a question from Ellie. There is an additional fee to keep you as a student, but it is much lower than when you're doing the coursework in the first year. But yes, that fee makes you a student. A thesis, even though if you're doing a thesis, you're a Tel Aviv University student, you get everything that any Tel Aviv University student gets. Very importantly, access to libraries, all the activities, etc. So yeah, there is a fee, and anyone who's interested can contact Kate about that. Hannah is asking, lots of questions. Let me go back to Hannah. If you want to teach in Israel, do you still need a teaching certificate, or does the MA suffice? That's an excellent question that we're asked a lot, and I'll be happy to answer that. So if you're interested in teaching in the public school system, you will need teaching certification. There is no universal teaching certification. What often happens with our graduates, and I'll tell you one thing, there is a severe lack of English teachers in the public education system. So often what can happen is that you will be offered a job with the understanding that you complete your certification during a certain time period. I know that our graduates are snatched up from the public school system. However, that's not the only place that you necessarily can teach. Blake talked about higher education. Blake, you want to talk about if you needed certification or not?
Right. So from my understanding, the MA TESOL is the sort of terminal degree for teaching English. So given that that's the result of the degree, you're able to teach at colleges and universities here in Israel and abroad, which for me was kind of one of the goals. So I found that to be quite useful as well. Yeah.
So in higher education, the requirement is at least an MA in TESOL or a related field. TESOL would be the, cherry on top. That's really the perfect degree that's needed. Now, some students ask, well, what should I do first? Should I do certification first, or should I do the MA first? And it's very important that you understand that if you do an MA first with us, we have very good relationships with a number of teachers' colleges. And so if you finish the MA and go on to certification, you are exempt from a large amount of the coursework. So, I mean, personally, I would rather do one full program and part of another than two complete programs. Our program is very well known in the teachers' colleges. They will exempt based on the coursework here. And if you've done any coursework that's relevant, for example, in your undergraduate degree. So what they do is they look at each case separately, and then they decide what you have to do and what you are exempt from. Let's see some more questions. So let's see, I get my bachelor degree in July 2023. Okay, so if you have not finished your degree yet, but will before the program starts, then if you fulfill all the requirements, you can be accepted conditionally. I'm going to let Kate discuss that, what the process would be.
Right. So I guess there are a number of students who are already applying, like you, Sylvie. So I'm expecting to get the diplomas at the beginning during the first several weeks of the program. So if I have all the documents from the list, like we do have 2 academic references, we have filled out application form, paid application fee. If you want, I can just refresh the requirements which are given on the website, probably. Are we here? Yeah. For us. So you can see once again some of the main requirements. And if you do write in an email that you are going to have your diploma during the summer, I send your profile to the academic committee to consider your candidacy. And if we accept you, I do send you a letter with acceptance on condition. So that means I'm expecting to get your diploma later. So it is still possible. And this year we have the deadlines extended, which is a good thing. So you still have quite a lot of time to collect your documents. So the deadline this year is the 20th of September. This month, we are starting the second roll of considering the applicants. So this week, probably some of you will receive acceptance letters. Those who are still on the way, please take your time and we'll look at your profiles in the next several weeks. So everything regarding the documents, it is considerable. Please don't hesitate to ask me detailed questions. There are some exceptions, definitely sometimes we look at the reference letters. And I'd like to mention that I think there was a question about the scholarships. We do have partial scholarships for the tuition, and we do send this request upon the acceptance. So as soon as you're accepted, you can also add a scholarship essay for us. The only thing is that the deadline for the scholarship selection is the 1st of July. So if you are planning of taking the scholarship opportunity, then it's better to do it a little bit faster. So did I answer the question?
Can I just jump in actually, Kate, just because I'm back in the office and you're speaking about scholarships. I did pop into the chat a link to our page on our website, where we list not just the scholarships that we offer, but also scholarships from other organizations and in countries as well. So I do recommend for you to check that out and to explore that. We list them all here based on, this is our main scholarship fund that Kate mentioned. There's also, I don't know if anybody here is from the Ukraine, the Ukrainian scholarship, the scholarships for students from Latin America, from North America, the Middle East. There's also a sports scholarship as well. So I do recommend for you to read through this page. In addition to this, you can also go to other funding opportunities and see lots of organizations here that gives scholarships and grants to students. There's also the MFA, which is the Israeli Ministry of Foreign Affairs. They often give a generous scholarship to students to come from abroad to Israel. Sometimes it can be as much as up to $5,000 or $6,000 per year. Not every country, they have a list of countries that they offer it to. It's not every country, but it is quite a long list. So I do recommend for you to check that out. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ilana, they want to say something about the internship that students spend time.
Yes, so, connected to the video you saw, learning with your head and your feet, or I'm not sure if I got it right, but that's the idea.
Perfect.
So I think there are a number of strengths in our program. One of the strengths is that there is this clear connect between theory and practice, as Blake said. So as part of the curriculum of the program, you will be placed in a practical teaching internship. For most contexts, it's once a week, but for others, it could be twice a week, but for less time each meeting. And the strength of I think, our program in terms of the internships is that we are very flexible in the type of teaching context that we can place you in. So that can span anywhere from elementary, junior high, and high school, which most programs will give you, but that only in the school system. Our program also provides teaching internships in higher education. I work with my other hat as head of English programs at the Division of Languages at the university. Often I'll have one or two TESOL students who I will mentor in my courses. We also have placement in adult education, particularly in a context where you'll be teaching African refugees. So we are very flexible. Also, for those of you who might already be teachers and maybe in a school or know a school or have a school, those of you in Israel, obviously, close to your home, our pedagogical coordinator, who is not here today, Hannah, will be very happy to discuss that with you. She's very open. She just has to check and see that the context meets certain requirements. And another plus is that in addition to your teaching context, you also have the opportunity to be a tutor in the Division of Languages Center for Language Excellence. Some of you might connect that to a writing center, but you will be trained as a tutor if you choose to, where you can commit any amount of hours a week, where you can tutor either students, sometimes people from the outside community come in on any English language need that they have, not necessarily writing. They might need to prepare a presentation in English, for example, and you would be helping them as well. So there are lots of opportunities for different types of placement. Some students are not sure, like, where do I want to teach? Do I want to teach children? Do I want to teach teenagers, adults? And then we sometimes, not always, but sometimes can arrange that in the fall and spring semesters when this practicum takes place in the second and third, that you can try one context, let's say in the fall semester, and another in the spring. So this is, I think, a huge strength of the program. In addition, we do accept students with absolutely no background in language teaching or education. And this is also a good opportunity for you to join a program. Usually for a master's program in TESOL, you have to have some sort of background in education. So we have both research-based, Ilana can certainly attest to that, courses at rigorous MA level, and we also have quite a few practical courses as well, always based on theory, obviously, and research, things like second language acquisition. As I said, I teach materials design and curriculum development, methodology. So this is like a hybrid program that really gives a full exposure for people who might not come from the field, and certainly for those who come from the field as well. As Blake did, he was teaching abroad, but he wanted to study the theoretical bases of what he was doing. So that is a question there. I'm just checking the chat.
And Lana, would you allow me to add a few highlights just on the topic of exceptional thing, which is outstanding for the program? I would say that that you all come from different backgrounds, and as you've mentioned, Ilana, we do have students with zero language education background, but we do have also teacher trainers who are adding up to their MA degrees. So I think this year we will have a very great mixture of experts and students who are just starting their journey. And I believe this also gives you this diversity background, will give you another benefit. You will definitely have a different experience within Tel Aviv University team. And moreover, even if you are not going to teach English, I don't know, things different happen in life. This TESOL program also gives you such deep knowledge of understanding the languages. So whenever you decide, let's say, to teach Japanese or another language, it would definitely give you a lot of support on your career.
And if I can also add to that, as Kate said, not everybody goes into classroom teaching. So we have had graduates, for example, who opened up their own English speaking nursery school in Tel Aviv. We have people who have gone on to PhDs and are in academia. We have people who have gone on to head curriculum types of programs, the curriculum experts. We've had people who have opened after school, sort of private classes for after school. We have people who actually ended up in training in high tech, because today high tech does value people with educational backgrounds. So there is, with this degree, there are opportunities for employment that are not only in the classroom. Hannah asked if it's possible to do a joint program with English literature. We do not have a joint program, but what I suggest is that you contact the literature program. Because our program is very intensive, you're actually getting a master's in 1 year, in 3 semesters, where summer, fall, and spring, where usually a master's will take 2 years. So it's very, very intensive. I'm not sure if if the possibility was there, but you can definitely check with the literature program. Perhaps you can take some electives in literature as well. Did I miss anything else in the chat? Let me check. If anyone has written and I've missed it, please, you can open your microphone.
I'll switch off the recording, just to allow anybody to